Hey guys, welcome to our Stranger Things Part 2 review. It's finally out. It's taken us several days to watch it. Tons and tons of content this time around. Now, if we will go back in time, back near the beginning of June when we reviewed Stranger Things 4 Part 1, we were kind of down on it. We thought it was overly bloated, spinning its wheels in certain spots. And I ultimately didn't review each episode individually. I said 4 and 7 were amazing. But the rest of the episodes, take it or leave it. It's, kind of boring in parts. So I ended up giving Part 1 a 6 out of 10. So that upset a lot of people. And I said, well, but maybe it could get better. Maybe they can really stick this landing, right? Well, we just finished watching episode 8 and 9. And I got to say, at least for me, holy shit, they fucking stuck the landing. Immediately, episode 8, Papa comes out fucking swinging. I savored every fucking frame. It just felt so much more interesting, tighter. We are literally in a climax for 4 hours. It was like a movie. It was fantastic. And guys, episode 8, Papa, is the highest. It's the high point of this Stranger Things 4 for me. 10 out of fucking 10. I'm saying it right off the bat. Really, really good on episode 8. Let's start there. What did you guys think of episode 8, Papa?
I still really enjoyed it, but I still didn't really feel for the whole Russian plot. Still stuck over there, still trying to feel like they need to be included and do stuff there.
For
but
sure.
didn't buy it. And the whole Jonathan and their team, still lacking for me. But other than that, I fucking loved every moment that I was just with the original team. Trying to find Vecna and all this fun shit. And then people getting their up and comings. Loved it.
Yeah, I think that this episode, we continued on with like the quality level of episode 7, where we're running on almost full cylinders. The Russia plot doesn't go anywhere, and it has no consequence in this whole series.
Yeah, we need to talk about
and we'll talk about that later.
depth.
But it doesn't go anywhere, and you have a feeling in this episode that it doesn't go anywhere, and it was a complete disservice to these characters to leave them over there, and that whole plot line doesn't work. Will and Mike are... There's a couple interesting scenes, but like they're so awkward, and I know exactly what they're trying to do here. I
need to talk about that.
So
we'll talk about that in spoilers.
So when they're like driving around, and it's just like what are we doing with these characters pre 11?
Yes.
That side plot is not working for me at all, and they could do interesting things with it, but they choose not to. And we look like we're about to get emotional breakthroughs, and then we just decide, when your best friend that you've known your entire life is weeping into the window, and you're like, I'm so happy. And it's just, what is
you
this?
You can't notice when your friend is feeling like
shit. And so I don't know. Like there's so many amazing parts in this thing. I do agree that it's the peak. I probably wouldn't give it a 10, but I think this is the peak for this season. But really there's still some things in here that aren't working for me.
God, when 11 breaks out and that whole fucking sequence and bringing that helicopter down and that explosion, I was like, all she needs to do is turn around and walk away like a cool fucking explosion. In
Never
the
look at the explosions.
Just fucking amazing, in my opinion. And I agree with you guys completely. The Russia thing, it's pointless, and it's confirmed to be pointless in episode 9, which we'll get there. And then there was this really weird thing with Will, and I was like, maybe I need to go back and rewatch. And I was like, hell no, I don't want to go back and rewatch over 9 hours of content just to get the context of what's going on here. I think they're trying to introduce some of Will's motivations or backstory. Is it me, or does it seem like Will has feelings for Mike?
Yeah,
like romantic feelings, like a gay relationship. Yeah. But I wasn't certain of that, so I don't know if it was the actor or the material that they're giving him, and is he still, traumatized from all he's been through? So I wasn't quite picking. I was like, maybe, but then I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, they're alluding to it, but they're kind of dancing around this.
So now there's somebody else besides me that's like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
They're dancing around the whole situation, but they refuse to go through with any of it. So
that seems unnecessary, especially when what this series is doing is it's kind of linking everybody up. I think maybe that they're gonna build that for a conflict, because that's going to create conflict, and eventually if you tease it, you have to somehow resolve it. So I guess that's going to be in season 5, that storyline. So let's jump into did you give it, let's go ahead and give it final verdicts, and then we'll jump into details of episode 8, and then we'll get to episode 9.
Final verdict for me is going to be an 8. Really did enjoy it, but again, kind of took me out with the whole Russian thing. Like, it just seems like, where the fuck is this going? It's spinning its wheels.
Yeah.
And same thing with the whole Will thing. With Will, it just seems like they're injecting a story that does not need to be there.
Right.
They don't need it. Like
they don't know what to do with
Will. He could be
Will.
a bad character. Exactly. He could just be a bad character just to help out the team. You don't need to force him in there. Do something.
I have
and
a good
now
idea
you're just like,
for Will.
and you're just right now. You just cause confusion with your audience. It's like, wait, what's going on here? What? This is the middle of a climax. Why do we need this right now?
Why are we doing this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can tell it's forced because, and we know that the writers have forgotten about Will. It was confirmed that the writers were like, oh shit, we forgot it was his birthday. Like, no, you guys literally
Everyone
let
forgets
us
about
know
Will
that
now.
We forgot about Will.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with that. I think that this is a really great episode, but I think great is probably where it stops for me. I think that this is an 8. I think there's just too many storylines that ultimately I'm upset when we switch to. And it's because it's a shift in momentum. It feels like a shift in stakes. And so you're really excited about things. People are you're worried about characters dying in this episode.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, we're in the gun store. We're worried about like all of these things. Is there going to be conflict? And then like, now we're going to go back to the road trip, and we're going to look at tracks in the desert. It's like, come on. Like, there's things that are working and they're not working. So
I kind of like that, though, that me personally, because I'm like, find her. Let's get this done.
No, I just mean like the whole desert thing. Like Will and Mike in the desert, like driving through, just that whole side, like even Argyle. Like I like Argyle, but we've got a lot of Argyle in some of these scenes where my dude.
Not for me.
That's the one I complained about when it was in part 1. It's like the new character is not where Eddie cool, right?
Yeah, I love Eddie.
And he even more cool here. But Argyle, all right. And Robin, even some of the new characters they've added before feel like they don't really have much to do, and they're just kind of there because it's like, oh, we added them last time, we have to bring them along. Yeah. So 8 out of 10 for y'all. I'm still sticking with my 10 out of 10. The reason being the highs of the episode are just so fucking high, and the plot is now culminating into a vision, a single direction for where they want to go. You get the action scene, you get the military fighting the military, you get all these moments between the characters, you get the surplus store, you get a lot of this, and then of course Papa at the end, and then the 11 meeting back up with Mike. I just think that this is fantastic, and then they got to figure out how to do it, and then all of the stuff at the beginning, which with Vecna. So 10 out of 10 on episode 8, Papa. I think it's one of the better episodes of the season. I think whichever episode Max was originally at risk and running up that hill, that song. I think that was either 4 or 7. I think it was 4. So that one also could reach that height for me. 4, 7, and 8 are the highest episodes. So jumping into episode 8, we're at the labs with Hopper. I like what they did here. The reason why I think it can still maintain a 10 for me, even though I don't like the Russia, they're finally having a point to it. It feels like, oh, God, yes. We finally broke out. And they're like looking through, and there's like creepy fucking demogorgons in the fucking, tubes. And it's like, okay, I get what you're going for here. Got a pistol, takes some shots. Shoots one rather easy, I guess, because he was strapped down and he's shooting its weak points with the pistol. But later on, we see AKs do jack shit, but yet a pistol is going to work. Okay, whatever. Anyways.
He was already hurt.
He's already hurt, right? Because he was being experimented on. Why does a pistol kill it if AKs don't? Shut up. Pep talk from Mike. We get that scene right there. Will is emotionally supporting Mike, but it turns out that Will has
He's a good
no
artist.
emotional support himself. He's a good good artist. Now we get the idea that there needs to be 4 open gates. In Hawkins, these visions to Nancy. I thought that was really cool. And one more kill, and these worlds will now merge. So the kids have a plan on how to take out Vecna. This is where they form the plan. This is where things come together, and I'm really loving it because it's that Stranger Things formula of, working
plan
together
coming
and
together.
figuring things out.
Did Vecna say tell 11 exactly what I show you, even though they're not even within thousands of miles of each other, and he can see in their mind and knows that they haven't talked in years?
Did he say tell 11 or did he say just tell your friends, tell everyone?
I
I don't remember. But anyways, they figure out that they're going to use Max as bait, and they're going to kill him when he's vulnerable. When is he vulnerable?
When he's
doing
his little mind.
Yeah, just like 11 kind of, conks out, Vecna will conk out at that. And if you reach his physical body, you can fuck him up. And so then we go back to Russia, and finally they escape this prison. I guess this was a moment of euphoria. It's like, fuck this prison, I'm out of here. And of course, you got the scene with AKs shooting the back of the van, but nobody's getting hurt.
No, it can't, because that van is super bulletproof.
Not penetrating, but okay, fine, whatever. Oh, thank God. And again, references to the 80s and just the culture are aplenty in this episode.
Yes,
I
that's what I
loved
loved.
all of them. There's one that went too far that I was like, really? That was kind of pointless. That was, he put on the mask of Mike Myers. He's like, I need a mask. Then he puts on a mask, and then they walk, and then he takes the mask off. I guess that was a joke. It's supposed to be a joke.
good.
It's the only
supposed to be
mask that we know
pointless.
she has.
Mike Myers. Now they go to the surplus store, and like Alex said, this is a tension-filled scene because we realize they keep number one. Let me. Did I write this down? I don't know if I wrote it down. Oh no. So they go to a surplus store, and they say, "So much for avoiding angry hicks." And I'm all saying, like, why? Like, nobody's. Like, you guys are being like kind of racist assholes or bigoted assholes for no reason, because nobody in the gun store was like an asshole to them out in the country. I'm like, that's good country folk. I go to the gun stores all the time, maybe because I'm from Texas and like they're fucking nice as shit out there. And I was like, I get it if they do a scene where you got this fucking country bunker, it's like, oh, you fucking kid, but they don't do that. Like, there's just, they look like, in fact, in the background, it looks like mom and pop are fucking shopping the thing from the city, not even from.
Yeah, there must have been a sale because there was a million people in that
Everybody
store.
was in that store. I was like, what the fuck?
We
I
need
was
guns now.
It's like, why?
Protect our
Why,
kids.
guys? Is it because you hate people that own legal guns and are responsible gun owners? Whatever. So they go to the surplus store. We get this. The scene comes later because we're jumping between multiple storylines, and that let me address this right now. Is that if there's weaknesses to the season and people are like, well, oh, this is a 10 out of 10, consider that people would lower that score because it's juggling so many different locations. I think we're at 4, 5 by the end, and that weight is so heavy. Now, these writers are great. There's a difference between Star Trek Picard and Halo on Paramount Plus and Stranger Things. These writers are managing it, but they are doing it just barely, and it could be even better if it was all focused. And I'm hoping we can get that focusedness in season 5 with the group kind of in one spot. But okay, so 11 wants to help her friends. You get a surprise here in this instance. Papa's like, no, you're not ready yet. He's the most powerful. We need to pump you up even more so we can be sure that we can take him on. And surprisingly, Dr. Owen supports her and not Papa. I thought this was cool. I was like, I didn't expect that. You think he's like going to help him on everything. But he's like, no, it's her fucking choice. We said it's not a prison. And I'm like, yes. Like, things that I see happening in movies, like, it seems like this series has a script doctor. You know what I mean? Because there'll be like little pieces of dialogue that quickly explain something right away to where I'm satisfied. And I hate it when series don't do that. And this one does do it. So we get that scene. We get a Steve and Nancy moment in the
Hey,
camper.
girl, I want to put 6 babies in
Damn,
you. Like,
boy.
God damn.
But it's
Take it easy, Steve.
It's a reconnection of the Steve and Nancy. We're rebuilding that we've
Team
done
Steve.
in previous seasons. Team Steve.
Team Steve forever.
And then we also get a Max, and because Lucas is kind of noticing this going on between Steve and Nancy. See, character moments. There's another reason why it's hard for me. Max and Lucas then talk, and they have a moment. And this relationship, I kind of buy a little less. Maybe it got rushed or something, but she's like, I have a moment that I'm thinking of that I can use to hide from Vecna. And Lucas is so presumptuous. He's like, is it me? And she's like, yeah, it's so, all right. I thought it was going to be something
like it.
with
It's
her.
funny.
Yeah, it is funny ultimately. I thought it was going to be like her family or upbringing or something. But when you realize that most of her family or most of her upbringing
treat her
kind of
like
sucks.
dicks.
Yeah, you're right. So that makes sense that it's her. So good. And again, we cut back to the adults in Russia. And we get the helicopter crazy guy, Yuri, and they're like, all right, we need to make a phone call to the U.S., because this helicopter looks like a piece of shit. That thing ain't gonna fly. Doesn't even have fucking blades and shit. Yeah, the Russia's thing.
And it goes on for a long time.
It goes
See,
a
but you
while. It's like
can't-
Hopper and Joyce. It's like, fuck. I want them to factor in, but at this point, it's like, shut up.
Well,
Why?
they try to shoehorn a reason for them to factor in, and they don't.
Well,
it is not successful.
Right. What we do get is for people, I don't know which segment of the audience this is, but they finally kiss. Well, they're not finally, but they get back together and they miss each other and they're undressing and are you seeing me? I'm missing you. Yeah. That kind of stuff, right?
It's like, oh, you're skinny. It's like,
Oh.
motherfucker's jacked.
What the fuck?
He's been doing
Are you
hard
saying
labor.
I was out of shape in previous seasons, and then when the show got popular, I started working out, and then I got jacked? Is that what you're saying? Yes.
Well, I got just no water and nasty maggots.
Yeah. And so Mike ends up finding the tire tracks. No. That's
Argyle.
Argyle ends up finding the tire tracks. This storyline, they're out there driving in the desert trying to find the coordinates from Dustin's girlfriend. And the military is on the way. The fucking military. With 4 Humvees and 1 helicopter. They're going to take on the most powerful thing. They fucking think 11 is responsible for all this power. So we're going to bring 20 soldiers and 1 sniper. Anyway, so the military is on its way. And then this is another high of a high. Papa betrays 11. And Dr. Owens kind of fucking has his people that's loyal to him lock up Dr. Owens, handcuff him in a room, and is basically saying, 11, you can't do this. And, of course, she
just felt like he wasn't ready to let go.
Yeah.
and she was fucking pissed. And so they do a little bit of a fight here. He manages to inject her with something that knocks her out before she's able to kill him or get out. And that's when we have another cool fight scene. So the military and the military fight each other. I guess these are rogue MPs because it says military police, but I guess maybe they were not military police the whole time and they're just private mercenaries. And they start firing at each other. One side M16s, one side MP5s. I'm like, the MP5s are fucked. The M16s are going to win on that alone, especially when they're using the SWAT ballistic shields and not smartly using cover. So they should have brought more. Should have brought more. The military I'm talking about. But I guess the military doesn't need to bring more because they win. These guys overwhelm the base, kill all of the scientists, and later on in a hole where a ladder people are exiting, the helicopter's purpose was to shoot every fucking person that comes out of there. And so there's a bunch of dead scientists there. And as they're losing, Papa's like, fuck. So he wanted to keep her there, but now is forced to leave. And he does care for 11 because he immediately, instead of saving his own skin, grabs her and tries to get her out of there while she's groggy. As soon as he exits, bam, here comes a sniper, fucking shoots Papa multiple times. I thought it was always going to be 11 that killed Papa, but it was the military, and he dies.
Maybe. We don't know if he dies.
No, that motherfucker's dead.
Well, I mean, no one in the show
Later
dies.
on, they show he's not quite dead. But they leave the doctor alive. Dr. Owens, the military's talking to him, and he tries to appeal to him. It's like, look, we're going to need 11. If you guys are wrong, you guys think you're right and you're going to kill 11, right? But what if you're wrong? Motherfucking military guy doesn't listen to him. And then this is when we get, 11 waking up and getting this cool-ass shot of her bringing down the helicopter. They would have actually shot her and killed her if it weren't for Mike and the pizza truck showing up in the helicopter. What the fuck is that? we got a civilian. They're like, ignore it. Just kill her. And honestly, this was one of the best shots and best episodes of the season. Stranger Things. Stranger Things, bigger, better, more badass. And this hits that. So she destroys the helicopter, kind of saves people. I guess the military is too scared to come up the hole because you think that they're already done murdering everybody, right? But they conveniently come out at the end when everybody leaves. But Papa unlocks the collar for her because I'm like, but what about she's not going to. But she still actually used the helicopter through the collar, but the collar's only activated. Anyways, he unlocks the collar. It's a sad scene for her and her papa, and he dies. And he says he's proud of her, and so you kind of feel a little bit here. It's a sad character, but he's kind of a piece of shit, and, you got that complexity. And I do think he's dead. I do think he's dead.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I don't think they have the balls to kill anyone in this show.
Alex, that's what I fucking tweeted before. There was like a Twitter's like, who's gonna die? Who do you think? I was like, ain't no motherfuckers dying in this. Well, we'll get to the next episode.
No,
military dude walks out right when they leave. They don't go after her because I don't know.
Because
the motherfuckers are in a pizza truck right there.
Couldn't happen if they didn't do it.
The pizza van was pretty fast.
They're just looking.
It's like it's gone. It's fast.
Oh, okay.
We have no, the helicopter's destroyed. We have radios. We have more helicopters.
There's a phone down there too. Yeah. They could call up and be like, "Hey, heading east, in the middle of the desert."
Yeah. So they need to get to the other team, and they're like, "Fuck, we're 2,000 miles away. How do we get there?" This is a conundrum, and that's where the episode ends. So going through it, maybe I want to lower my score to 9. No, I'm giving it a 10 because that's what I felt, dude. I was hyped. I was like, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't in the mood for Stranger Things Part 1. Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1, and just like slogging through it all, and 8 great episodes, but then come on, here it was just go. I love the climax.
Yeah, even with like storylines not working in this one, I still enjoyed this episode. The beginning of this season, they really focused on stuff like Elle getting bullied for so many episodes, and then redoing it, and then it went fucking nowhere. Elle's bullying situation goes literally fucking nowhere this whole season. So it's like, why did you drag me through it for however many episodes?
Character
she
building.
Deserved it.
Character building.
Yeah, but we didn't build any fucking
All
character.
right, into episode 9, guys, the piggyback. And I was like, how does that make sense? Well, it makes sense when 11 comes up with an idea on how she can contribute to the battle when she's so far away. It's, look, God damn it, Stranger Things, you've created a problem and you have to fucking...
Everyone's far away, we have to connect them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem they have to solve. And some of it feels natural and some of it feels contrived and rushed. Yes, exactly. Because this is where... And I was like, dude, that last episode was so fucking good, 10 out of 10. Oh, man, this has got to be a 10 out of 10 too, right? Not for me. Still really, really good. But this is the one where I'm seeing some issues here and there. So, anyways, episode 9, the piggyback, we get basically everything is now crystal clear. We get the purpose of, the Mind Flayer. We get a reveal about the identity of the Mind Flayer. We get more Vecna backstory. We get the final confrontation. For now, we get the epic battle, which may or may not have been that epic. We get some confusing conveniences with having to juggle 5 different locations. And if Vecna is somewhat of a god and omnipotent, why are things not really kind of happening? But yet still a somehow satisfying conclusion where everybody takes their skills and individual knowledge and contributes to the greater whole from multiple locations in order to take down the bad guy. And when you have that climax and the culmination, that's when it's firing on all cylinders, and it is the best it's ever been, and really, really good, more adult Stranger Things. As this series is growing, it's weird. I was looking at some weirdos' reviews. This series is trash. It's too dark. We were dying. It's like, kids shouldn't watch this. Shut the fuck up. This is them growing. The kids don't even look like kids anymore. They're young adults, essentially. So it's like, it has
Terrible
a right.
haircuts.
I hate that it's becoming a horror. Do you even know what the fuck Stranger Things is supposed to be about? You know, it's like some people have weird fucking criticisms where they rated it 1 star. I was looking on Rotten Tomatoes at the user reviews.
1 star?
Don't
Get
do
out
that.
of here.
Don't fucking do that. It's like the worst people in the world. Anyways,
I loved it.
I loved it.
Horror element.
Excellent. Exactly. That's what I appreciate. I really like when you're putting these characters in danger. And we have that. We have real danger for Max here. We have extreme danger for Eddie here. And so unfortunately, we have a character death. So we were wrong. There is a character death.
That doesn't count.
None of the main cast.
Yeah, no main character. Someone introduced in this season doesn't count. They always kill a newly introduced character every single
Stranger
season.
Things has always seemed
That's
to
why
have
I don't
that
think
problem.
I don't think Papa's dead. I think he'll be used as a plot device in the the next
Papa's
season.
dead.
You think he's dead?
Yep. Vote Joe. Papa's dead. Papa's not dead. Is Alex.
Yeah.
You might get a cameo from Papa in flashbacks
Yeah.
in episode 9, but he's not going to be legit alive. That was the culmination of Papa's story, and I think that perfectly ends that. Now, is it the
It was
culmination of
symbolic.
Eddie's story?
He released there once he's
It should-
dead.
Is it the culmination of Max's story? Because Max gets fucked up in this. That shit was horrific to watch. A character I actually care about getting fucking snapped. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna do it? This is gonna fucking hit so hard.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would do it. Like, that's gonna make motherfuckers cry. Everybody's gonna be fucking talking about it. Holy shit, Max died. I fucking hate Netflix. You're gonna have so many girls, like, attack Netflix headquarters. You know, I'm like, wow, they got some fucking balls on them. No balls. No balls.
Just
We'll
kidding.
fuck her up, but no balls.
Just
They
kidding.
did fuck her up quite a bit, which I didn't even think they'd do. So I'll give them credit for fucking her up quite a bit.
Exactly.
But it's like, damn, man, we already had the Max and in danger. We couldn't put another character in danger. We did the Max thing, and then we're doing the Max thing again? All right. Okay, I guess.
It's unfinished business.
Yeah. We also get the culmination of Steve, Nancy, and Robin. They didn't really, I didn't buy how they, because if you touch one tentacle, then they all know you're there. Boy, they fucking hopped all them tentacles. And it was only when, he finally realized that they were there that they got. And I was like, I don't buy that they can get all the way up the steps. And then the show said, we got you, Joe. I was like, thank God. So it makes sense. I liked it. And only when he's distracted are they released, and they are able to do this climactic fight scene. So without getting into details, which we'll get to in a second, let's go ahead and give final verdicts for Episode 9, the conclusion of Season 4.
I was hoping this would be the last season because I think this would have been a great send-off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. Still have its problems. We had to go back to the camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we just escaped in this whole Russian thing, but we got to go back.
I know. We have to talk about that.
It's like, I don't want to go back.
I was like, are you fucking serious? So the whole Russian thing was to break out. Now we have to go back.
It's a hive mind.
We have to.
We need something
help
to
the kids
do.
in some way, right?
Yeah, we're in
it
Russia,
feels like
so
the
we need
writers
something to do.
wrote themselves into a corner. They're like, fuck. And then they had to write themselves out, and it just does not feel right.
Yeah, and then when the 11 and everything, I get that one. She's piggybacking on the Vecnus.
That I
gods.
like because
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
mind stuff. right?
Exactly. It's like, that's fine. It's plausible, whatever, in this little realm. But still, the Russian thing is like, did you really help, though? I don't feel like they did.
They didn't. They said they
you
did,
help?
but they didn't. There wasn't a
Yeah,
single.
it's like-
I watched twice.
Because they said,
There was
we
not
can-
a single thing
we
they
can
did.
What did they
weaken
say,
them.
Alex?
We can weaken
What
them.
was their purpose?
They said they were trying to do the thing where we need to go. It's a hive mind. If we kill these creatures, we can maybe give the kids an upper hand. But it was never shown. It was never done. It had no impact whatsoever.
It did. It would have been all right if they filmed it in a way where Vecna goes like that, or just something like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but nothing like that happened. And I'm just like, okay, well, you just kind of
Because honestly, to me, the Demogorgons and those things, those are fucking separate. you can attack those, and Vecna's not hurt. You know, he's not lessened.
That's what
but
I was
okay,
thinking
fine.
too, because like they were doing
say
that, they were
they're all
attacking it.
together.
You didn't see Vecna flinch. You didn't.
That's the writers.
See Vecna do anything.
Fuck.
The
When
only-
they killed bats before it hurt Vecna or something, because that's how that works, right?
But yeah, the only thing
that's
you
true.
saw
I'll
was that, and
But-
then I did like
But again, they
Eddie's
didn't
scene.
film it in the in the good way.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. But Eddie had a badass scene with Master of Puppets, which I liked. That was
Yeah,
a pretty
I
sweet
mean,
song.
I like Metallica, old Metallica for
Yeah.
sure. So you got me no matter what on that. It feels a little cheap, but because I've heard the song so many times, it's almost plays
But it was
on repeat.
Eddie.
But
Eddie's
it
like,
was
you know
fucking
what?
awesome.
I
still.
want to be a hero this time. I'm not running. I'm gonna take matters to my own hands. I was like, this guy's. I like this guy.
He dies a hero. But again, the scene, I knew Alex was gonna make a noise because
He doesn't die here. He dies a fucking idiot who died for no reason.
there's what it is because the way it's filmed.
It was
Now, if
filmed
they
and
filmed
written
it,
by an absolute
I
imbecile.
see what they're doing on paper. It was gonna work.
They
But
needed a scene.
For some reason, the bats, who are murderous, circle him for no fucking reason. Come at him one at a time. And he yelled and screamed, "Follow me, you assholes!" And he didn't need to do it. It feels like, or at least, again, show Vecna being distracted so that we have purpose for that. That culmination in slow time. Fucking make it more impactful than what Alex saw it as a pointless. Why did
he do it?
Alex,
he wanted a cool
because
music
the-
video.
How do
the
you-
bats, let me explain from the writer's perspective. If the bats did not follow, if every single bat did not follow him on his bike, they would have gone after the other members
Did he
of
know
the
that?
team.
We're
Yes,
gonna,
that was the whole
after
point of
Dustin,
their plot,
right?
is him and Dustin were going to distract all the bats.
The bats just long enough so they could get in there and kill Vecna.
Yes.
And then the plan was, which do not deviate from the plan whatsoever, is if you're in trouble, get the fuck out. This isn't a situation
Yes, but
where
what he is distracting the bats. So in the writing, it makes sense, but in execution, it was
I'm
not.
just saying even the writing doesn't make. You need a scene
No, I
where
disagreed there. I think in the writing, it makes sense.
they had distracted them, they pulled them away from the house the entire time. When Vecna dies, the bats die.
It's,
Yeah, and so
No. So what they're saying is the bats wouldn't even be circling Eddie. They would be attacking Nancy, Steve with the Molotov cocktail.
Well, yeah, but
there'd
they would
be bats in the house,
but they'd have-
protecting a shield wall.
yeah, I get that, but they'd have
That's what I'm saying.
they'd have to fly back. But the bats weren't leaving the house.
The reason why they weren't leaving the house is because the bats were distracted by Eddie and Dustin. This is the writing.
I know what they. I know what they're
contrivance,
telling you, but
Right.
like Eddie.
But
has
you're
a-
saying it makes no sense. It does make sense within that. Within that.
if you have Eddie have a scene where they're like, holy shit, some of the bats are coming back, you need to do something, we're in trouble, or if he knows. Otherwise,
Exactly.
it looks like a
Yeah.
character in the dark, in a vacuum, running to kill himself for no fucking reason, and he doesn't know that Vecna isn't dead yet. He doesn't know anything. None of them know anything. They have a radio. Like they could have got a message from them. It's like, hey, we need more time, and then it makes sense. But
I agree with the way.
and then it's mirrored doubly in the Russia thing, where these fucking idiots in Russia go back into a prison because they think a hive mind is going to hurt Vecna, and it has no impact whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
not even filmed impact.
Like there are tropes in movies that I fucking hate, and what we talked about recently. I hate when a character is locked in their own mind, and it's the fucking person like, you're special. Use the power of love to overcome. I hate that.
Oh man,
The-
Alex, then you.
This
fucking
episode
hate
was
it.
not good.
No, it was good. It was good. I disagree.
Will having to yell to Mike, "You're the heart." Tell her, and then Will going, I should have used more fucking emojis.
Alex is sitting there fucking
Taking away the agency. So you're telling me she couldn't save the world because her boyfriend hadn't told her that he loved her? Mm-hmm. That's it? The world's going to end because she... No, come on.
I kind of saw this coming, so I already prepared myself.
But it's like it's still... we like the Fifth Element here, right? Lilu doesn't want to save the... She's not sure if she wants to save the world because humanity's a piece of shit, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I understand that. This is different where... Elle doesn't...
Yeah, she already wants to save
She wants to save the world, but it's until
but
her...
she needs that little bit more power, and she gets more power because Mike tells her he loves her and supports her.
Because Will had nothing to do and Mike had nothing to do.
Feelings,
and then the writers had to write something in because they had written themselves into a shitty corner.
All right, we got it. We got you, Alex. What's your final verdict?
This is a 5. This is fucking below average shit. This episode ended like 7 fucking times.
Ouch.
The only reason I'm saying it's average is because Dustin fucking killed it. He had a really emotional scene with Eddie's uncle. It was incredible. Lucas was incredible. There was some really cool stuff here.
Yeah, that scene hit me.
But ultimately the final fight was kind of disappointing. Like there wasn't really much of a mind fight or anything like that.
She comes in, she does this, and
then they light him on fire and he jumps out and he's disappeared. Like any of the final conflict stuff, not all that exciting.
They had that better fight. Not a better, but they had a similar fight in 7.
Yeah, I think it was better done before. I really don't like the Mike this season. I think Mike trying to help save the world via I love you. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb in every media that I watch it, and it didn't work here.
I like
Will.
I don't mind it.
Will, again, it was so awkward when Will is like screaming, "You're the heart, Mike. Tell her."
Yeah.
The basketball team is awful this entire season, and it's not much better here.
Finally gets
the better
culmination of. I like that the way it worked.
He dies. Good. Fuck that guy.
But
I know, right? And I don't know, Joe. He's not quite as bad of a guy as we've seen, like, say, Billy, because from this guy's perspective, his mind is twisted, and he's totally in the wrong and not doing things right and being a piece of shit. But he gets, if you notice this, they kind of did it quick. He gets ripped apart.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It
was good.
The gateway starts opening. He's laying across it.
And he does show concern. It's not like he hates everybody. He does show concern for Max. He's like, "What the Max? Talk to me."
Yeah, but he shoots Lucas. He shoots at Lucas
because he thinks he thinks he's the cause of it. He thinks Lucas is Vecna.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, he's not. Is he a fucking piece of shit, or is he just so gone that from his perspective?
So
I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer thought he was good from his own perspective. It doesn't mean that we all look at him as like he's a sane individual.
I'm just saying, like previous villains versus like say Billy and other people, he's
Billy was a piece of shit like through and through, but this guy is a different kind of piece of shit. This is a more dangerous piece of shit because he thinks that he's like morally right and he's trying to shoot teenagers. So that guy, fuck off. I'm glad he's ripped in half.
For me, I liked it a little bit. I liked it a little bit more than Alex. I was going to give it a 7.
Okay.
The ending, like you said, didn't really feel satisfying. I'm like, okay, you could have done it in a better way. But the acting chops and some of the kids actually helped it.
Yeah.
But Will still feels useless.
What are we doing with Will and Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So my rating, it was, I could see people. People become not objective anymore when they're so invested. How many hours in are we now invested? Season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 4 being so bloated, so many hours. There's going to be people that give this episode a 10 out of 10. It to me, it doesn't deserve it. And, you can say, well, your episode 8, rating of 10 out of 10 doesn't deserve it. But here's where, like, I was so high from the last episode coming in, wanting a good resolution, and we had all these issues that you guys brought up. So I'm ultimately going to give it an 8 out of 10. I like it the best amongst all of us because, the love message doesn't really bother me. I kind of expect that for things, and this, it's a growing up story. People are definitely kind of forming little couples and relationships and using the power of friendship and family. The power of friendship, the power of family, the power of love, all these things doesn't bother me that much in order to combat evil and darkness, light versus dark. So, but that final battle, there's things that don't quite make sense, and I feel like the writers are better than certain aspects of it. I think it was handled well, and they're juggling 4 or 5 different locations. Guys, let's count them. So we have Russia, Hopper, and Joyce. We have
California.
Steve. We have California's team of Mike, Will, and Argyle. So that's 2. We have Nancy, Robin, and Steve's team. and then we have another team of Lucas's sister, who is the spotter. Then we have another team of Lucas and Max, who are in Vecna's house doing the hiding and distracting Vecna. Then we have 11 was in one of those teams there, and then so that's 5. And then we have, do we have another team?
Yeah, there's the
yes. We have Eddie and Dustin's team, so that's 6.
Well, and then you also have actual Mind Max, Mind 11, and Mind Vecna in another.
And then and so while they're still in that, but they're also in that one, but then they're also in the actual Mind. So you're literally juggling 7 different locations / teams / resolutions. Boom, 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 boom. And you have to do all these and get them done right. And so that's why, ultimately, I think that under lesser writers, this thing would have fucking collapsed. But I think that these writers managed to get it done with that sort of difficulty curve. And now everybody is fucking together. They're not in different locations. They're back from Russia. They're in fucking Hawkins. They're together, and we don't need to have 7 different things going into season 5.
Do you remember season 3, the ending where Hopper is narrating that letter?
So
that
8
11,
out of 10.
That 11 is reading? Mm-hmm. You remember how emotional and amazing that ending is, and how I didn't get a whiff of that level of emotion outside of maybe Dustin and Eddie. But like, that was Dustin's ending was one of many little sub endings over and over. So they had, because there's so many strands, they wanted to end every single one of them. None of them with the ultimate impact. That by the time we got to Hopper being reintroduced to 11, I mean, I was expecting something, but it wasn't as big as all of the other things they've done before. I just don't think people like this is the peak. It's like, go back and watch the previous ones. They've done better within this show recently.
Well, we'll do that real quick. So let me jump in real quick. We're gonna do a really fast one. So, Cliff Notes, okay? You guys pop in if you want. So. Episode 9, we open on the helicopter in Russia. We get a kissing scene. Hopper and Joyce. Steve and Nancy go into the Upside Down. 11 goes into the mind of, and piggybacks. The kids go into the Vecna home. So again, we're setting up all these different locations. The high schoolers are practicing shooting. They find out where the kids are. Hey, you don't want to see this. And Hopper and Joyce theorize that they can't get back in time, so we need to
do something.
The writers are telling me something. Oh, we need to go back into the prison because it feels so much like the writers wrote themselves into a corner and had to force their way out. We've already said that. Pizza dough freezer is an Argyle contribution, so Argyle finally contributes in a meaningful way. I get, this will work. All right, everybody come with me. So that's Argyle's contribution to Stranger Things. Why the metal concert again? It attracts all of the bats. By the way, it's a fucking badass visual. Red lightning, ride the lightning, boom, let's go. Mm-hmm. I liked it. They find Vecna's house in the Upside Down, while simultaneously we have a battle at the prison. The little fucking dogs are running around, Hopper, all that shit. We have a scene of Russian nationalism appealing to the nationalistic Russian thing to get the pilot to stop with his fucking bullshit tricks.
Remember when you were a hero? Because all he needed was a pep talk to save the world.
To quit being a fucking
because
coward.
Pep talks to save the world.
Every child team series ever. Alex, shut the fuck up. Max and
wasn't good in those
Max
either.
and Lucas write messages to each other as they stay quiet. But she challenges Vecna, and she goes, and Vecna shows up, and Mike and 11 get the we miss you scene, and they get back together. Will and Jonathan embrace. They talk separately while they're at the pizza. They are there for each other. But I wrote it here. What is Will's problem? So I was getting it, but I wasn't getting it. He's in love with Mike.
I hate Will.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I wanted to give Will something else to do. And I'll talk about that in a bit. And I thought that maybe what Will could have done instead of Dustin. Okay, so here's what I'll just say it now. Dustin had the buddy plot line with Steve. Remember? We all fucking loved that in that season. It was either 2 or 3. And he does it over again. We get it over again, Dustin and Eddie. Why not give Dustin something new to do and put Will here or something. And give Will some, because you're just repeating Dustin's, friendship, even though I
I
fucking
don't know if
love
he has
Dustin.
the chemistry that Dustin does.
You're right.
Though.
No, you're right. It's because Dustin has the chemistry with whoever. Because Dustin's the friend you want, and
Exactly.
Eddie's the guy you want to hang out with.
Will's
So
just
it makes
like
sense.
he's just there.
I get it, but I don't want to repeat stuff we've done before, and I want to find more purpose for Will. Instead of being sad that
something to
Mike
do.
doesn't love him.
I
When
wrote you every day.
When so clearly
You didn't write
Mike
back.
is in love with 11. All right. Metal concert is, let's see. No, Max does the good memory. So she goes to the time she was
The dance.
dancing with Lucas. And I thought they were going to set up all the actors, but no, it's empty. So we can have that final battle. But that would have been way cooler if there was everybody in there and Vecna was like, shit like that. But instead, just the flowers die and everything when Vecna shows up. Dustin and Eddie hold up from the bats. Cool scene. They're poking the bats, and the fucking things are fucking scary as shit, and they're brave as fuck. And then I like how everybody equips for battle, and Dustin's the only one that looks like he's ready for battle. He's like got a fucking warrior,
Like a ghillie suit.
Mad Max shit. I fucking love it. That's what I would have done. I would have been like all equipped and shit and grenades on my chest and everything. That's what they should have done. Didn't they say they had grenades there? Buy some fucking grenades for the bats. God damn it. Anyways, back in the Russian prison. Hopefully this is the last season that everyone is not together. We've made that criticism so many times, but they still,
Big focal point.
4 or 5 different locations. Shadow went into the monsters. This I didn't understand. I put a question mark by it. What happened? They're talking with this Russian guy. Yeah, the Shadow went into them. So are the monsters supposed to be powered up? Or did the Shadow go into the
I didn't get
Russian
that.
guards?
No, he went into the dead dogs, right? Because they were
Right.
the pickled ones.
Right.
He broke out
So
all of them.
So are they powered up or something?
Well, they're now Vecna'd.
okay.
They needed more things to fight.
Yeah, okay. Russia has no alert system, by the way, for this prison. There's just no reinforcements. This whole prison can just go dark, and Russia's like, yeah,
This is the most tightly guarded
right,
prison, right?
right.
Yeah.
But like they have no call to anybody. Nobody regular checks in. Hey, is this incredibly crazy alien thing that you're doing? Is everything fine? Whatever.
The village has seen gunfire. Are you okay? No? All right.
Jason finds Max and Lucas, points the gun at him. We get this scene, and I was like, "Oh fuck, man!" There's some tension here because you don't know is Lucas gonna die? Is Max gonna die? Russia again. Get all the monsters into the pit, and then toast them, and hopefully that gives the kids the upper hand. It feels so tertiary.
It did nothing.
Too far out there. Too far.
Well, also did nothing. I mean,
did nothing.
And it's like,
So
if
we
it had done
get that.
something, I would
He
be okay with it.
eventually brings them to the center. We get the scene of the guy getting the flamethrower. And by the
Yay,
way,
Murray.
my home theater, this was one of the more awesome parts because that flamethrower, everything was rumbling. Whoa, it's fucking sweet. But it's in a thing I don't give a fuck about. I was like, man, that means the final battle is going to be even better, dude, in my system. It unfortunately, no. I don't believe Steve's Groove made it without touching anything, but immediately the second I wrote that, good, they got captured and they're being killed. Eddie sacrifices himself to buy more time. Alex hated this one.
I don't think that there was no indication in Eddie's perspective that he needed to buy them more time.
Yeah, they should have filmed some stuff like bats coming this way, and then maybe a few of the other team having to.
They go off on the radio. What's them saying? So they need more time. Something that made me believe that a guy who had been scared his whole life was going to kill himself for meaning. But that's the whole point of that scene.
Instead, it's all internal.
Yeah.
Instead, it's all like.
I have to stop.
I don't want to be a coward. I don't want to run away. It's like, okay, great. Give him a great reason. Maybe if he saved Dustin, maybe he had done something where he actually felt as an individual, I did this thing. Because from just watching, it's like, this guy looked like he just went out to die.
Yeah. Bats encircle Eddie, and they come at him one at a time, ? I wrote plot armor, but that didn't ultimately work out. He actually does die. Yeah. If he's in control, and this is the question I wrote down, it's like, wait a minute. If Vecna is in control, and he's like controlling all these bats, he's doing all the creatures, he's doing everything, they didn't do that right. Why aren't they showing him that it's making him tired or that he's exerting effort to try to do each one? That's the missing element that I needed that could have got an additional.
Yeah.
Well, I think
point
it's a
for me.
retcon. I mean, they probably will deny it, and they probably have denied. I don't think that they went into season 1 going, Vecna is the guy controlling all of these bad guys. It was
That's
me
what
the
I
whole
said
time.
in season 4, part 1.
Yeah, it's
that
just like-
they all got into a writer's room. They're like, let's fucking.
Let's retcon the shit out of
Let's do
everything
this.
here, and it's like, well, some of it doesn't quite fit, and they're like, oh, it'll be fine. No one pays all that much attention
Right.
to it because the people on Rotten Tomatoes will make it a 10 out of 10 no matter what.
But I do like that they now have a vision and we're going to execute it.
Yeah.
So he wants 11 to watch before he kills her. So he doesn't kill 11 right away. They have a little fight, but they're like, no, come into my world. And that's when she says, Papa's dead.
yeah.
And it kind of makes him momentarily walk towards her. And she's like, he made you into this. And he's like, no, you made me into this. So then that's when we get a scene of 001's backstory into the Upside Down. And we get the reveal that he is not a general of the Mind Flayer. And the Mind Flayer is the master and he's the general. Nope. It is Vecna. It's always been Vecna.
So I like.
Right?
Yeah, but this takes away some of the enjoyment because I love
He
the idea
drew
of
the Mind Flayer as a kid.
yeah, and he creates this cloud into it, but this takes away the cosmic horror aspect of the show that I really liked, right? An underground dimension that there's all this crazy shit trying to come into a world, but
That you cannot stop.
but it's humanity.
Yeah.
A human being is a dick, and that's what Stranger Things about. It's no longer Cthulhu or something coming through.
I didn't
but
even consider
but now
that,
it's like
Alex.
all the cool
I
shit
like that
is
you're
gone.
making it more simple, and it feels like the pieces fit better. But the picture
get the
you're
big
making
picture
with
you
the
like?
pieces
I don't like
is
it.
not quite as cosmic and nice. It's like what they did with Alien and Covenant. Alien Covenant, I hated that. They said, "Oh, it was motherfucking Michael Fassbender." You know, it's like, no, it's the fucking xenomorphs evolved into the perfect fucking weapon, the perfect being, and there is shit out there that you will not defeat. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, but exactly.
No more. It's just some.
No, you can defeat it with love, Alex.
It's an ill-adjusted kid. Yeah, you're the heart. You got to tell him that you love him and that you will put smiley faces on
That's
the notes
power.
Your
because
friends have lost.
Yeah.
It is over, he tells her. That's when Alex
I hated this
had
Superman
a
Lois.
conniption
I
fit
always hate this
because Mike says, I love you. And he is the heart. Will encourages. Even Will puts his own feelings aside for Mike and says, "You are the heart. Tell her." And so we get time for. So there's time for Mike to do a speech during the bad guy doing his evil stuff. Like that doesn't make any sense. He would have already completed his objective while Mike was talking. But okay, I will say everything slows down, and Mike was able to say it before that. I love you this. I love you that, etc. 11. Gets out. Get the vines slowly release her. It would have been better if she just broke through him. But and the last minute she hits him. He goes, "Whoa."
he doesn't realize that she's making the vine slowly go
Right.
away. He sees
This is
everything
why,
and knows everything.
This is why the more we think about
So
it,
like
the
it's a
more
hive
it
mind.
pisses me off. How dare you? That was directed at you, the person that's writing it. You guys are fucking stupid. But I thought it was a hive mind.
no, it
Anyways.
doesn't work because the power of love made them shrivel.
Right. So
Ew.
11 gets out, last minute hits him. Joyce hits the dog. So now we're getting the turning of the thing, and the good guys are winning. Joyce hits the dog, saving Hopper. Then their plan goes into the action. Dude flamethrowers the monsters. Yay. But it's not really shown. You said you watched it again, and it's not. I mean, it's all happening already.
Nothing
so-
happens
right.
that Vecna is weakened by anything, giving the kids
Well,
upper hand.
the next scene after the flamethrower, and they could film it better. I get it. You're filling in the blanks for it. The bats start dropping. The tentacles start dropping after the flamethrower. So was it that 11 threw him into the rock that the bats are dropping, or was it the flamethrower that dropping? It's everything, Joe. The flamethrower is super effective. And it made me, in that instance, maybe realize that maybe the military would have won against these invaders if they just used flamethrowers. But maybe it was because everything was weakening, and Vecna was weakened.
Yes.
Simultaneously from 4 different locations. Vecna, this is only the beginning of the end. You have already lost. We get that trope. Steve throws his Molotov cocktails. Hopper attacks the Demogorgon with a sword.
Conan the Barbarian sword.
Fucking awesome.
Slices in that.
Evelyn.
So all
Slices
you need is
head off.
swords. All you need is swords to beat the Demogorgons. You don't even need
We didn't know
flamethrowers.
that.
You just need a dude with a fucking sword.
No.
A flaming sword.
No, the Demogorgon
Even
is already
better.
hurt. Shut up. 11 held him in place, and we get the running up the hill song again. Robin throws the second Molotov. Nancy uses her shotgun. Everybody has something to do. I love it. I think that while it's kind of crumbling, the writers are holding it up, and the performances are holding it up, and they're doing the best they can. Hopper, City, headdress of cuts the head off of the Demogorgon. Nancy shoots Vecna again. This time he crashes out of the house and falls on the ground. They do a Michael Myers thing because the body is not gone. Is gone. A helicopter shows up to save Hopper and Joyce. They go, hey. And then they get rescued. They come to America. And they were shot down, by the way, on the way back. So they're dead. Joyce, honestly, though, I was worried about I was kind of worried about this ending. We're just going to redo the battle next season. We're just going to redo the Vecna battle.
That's what I was saying. Like,
I was hoping that Vecna would be
kinda
defeated,
end
and then they would go up against the Mind Flayer or something like that. But no, that's not the case. The Mind Flayer is Vecna.
Yeah,
So.
I like the idea of not being able to defeat the cosmic horror that lives over there, and it's not about defeating it, but sealing off the world.
Correct.
Because that is something that
And
you
then
can overcome.
always being a threat there.
But now it's
Now
a
you
dude.
kill
It's a
Vecna,
fucking
you're good.
angry child that had a pill in his neck.
No, they'll do the world is still there. The Upside Down is still there. It's just the other monsters can't get through without their leaderless, without Vecna. So there is still some danger there, but whatever.
How would the
Or
monsters
maybe
be there,
Mike
though?
will become the new Vecna because he's super pissed. Or will become the new Vecna because he's super
Nobody
pissed that
likes
Mike,
me.
No, Mike doesn't return my love. Well, I'm going to stay here in this realm. Fuck you, 11. And then he will become the new Vecna. Eddie is cut up. He didn't run away this time. Unfortunately, Eddie dies. Sad scene with Dustin. A new character dies. Dustin mourns his death. Eddie's death is sad.
Yep.
But
I loved Eddie.
you know, but again, he's a character that was just introduced. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
he's better
fuck.
than some of the other characters we have.
Yes,
Like
you're right.
I will trade. I will give you Max.
I'll give you
and
Robin.
Will.
I'll fucking give you Robin. I'll
So I was
fucking
like,
give you.
I was going to give it even
Jonathan.
more points.
Will, Jonathan, Argyle, Robin,
Argyle.
for
I was going to
Eddie.
give it more points when Max was like, "Oh, holy shit, Max is going to die."
I know.
She's in coma.
Max looks blind.
Yeah.
Those shots of her on the floor with all
She's
of her
like, I
fucking.
can't see anything, and she stops.
Lucas acted his
Lucas
ass off
is helping Max. Max, that is real emotion.
Yeah.
But I immediately think she's going to be in a coma. That's what happened.
Yeah.
4 chimes though. That means Max dies.
She died for a minute.
in a second. So the jock boyfriend character dies when the house splits apart. There's a tear now in the real world. It's horrific to see Max broken. 11 is with Lucas and Max, but from a different realm, and she's horrified to see. And then 11 says, "No, you're not going." She does something. There's memories of them hanging out as child. She's trying to heal her.
G-Force heals her
Then
heart
there's
back.
a 2 days later jump. What the fuck? God damn it. Everyone is leaving Hawkins. It's the news explains it as a 7.4 earthquake. I'm like, please don't do this. Don't explain it. But then at the very end, they're like, oh, also satanic cults and maybe a gateway to hell. I'm like, oh, okay, but maybe you should have led with that instead of just a 7.4.
I really hate that the news mentioned the Hellfire Club they're like, well, we think they're responsible for these ritualistic killings. It's like, but they're all just walking around the streets in like the high school. It's like if they are indeed suspects of these killings,
What are you doing?
there they are. And the
Guess-
military.
Just
No,
put a
but
target
they
on
never
their
found
back.
out who they were.
The
They
Hellfire.
never-
They have a
There's
picture.
a picture of all of them.
Oh, that's right. No, wait.
Yeah.
He shows them all of them.
He's like, he starts painting out, handing out
true.
the flyers.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
whole town knows who the
So then
Hellfire.
why are? So they blamed it all on Eddie. That's the storyline, is that Eddie
It's Eddie's fault.
brainwashed everybody. I don't know. It's stupid. Eddie is pinned as the leader of
Yeah,
the
I mean, the
satanic
Manson
cult.
family went to jail.
Talks about a doorway to hell itself. The group reunites. Jonathan is back with Nancy. That's like
Awkward and great, yeah.
Awkward. Lucas is at the hospital with Max. Makes sense. Thought
Yeah, he's
so,
reading
she's not
Talisman
dead.
too, which
Yeah,
that's
sweet.
it's a book about 2 dimensions and people potentially going back and forth between the dimensions and stuff. So there's
It's
some
about love.
no.
Guess what, Alex? Lucas is going to save Max with love, and you're going to love it in season 5. Will knows Vecna is not dead. He senses him. Ash falls from the sky as the Upside Down invades. Oh.
Yeah.
But that's not it. They should have just smashed the black right there. But no, relief donations. Robin runs into her love interest. Don't care. Jonathan and Nancy. There's application talk because I think earlier in the season he got an application to go.
Declined, and she's going to go anyway.
Because he wants to stay with her and stuff. 11, doubting herself because she couldn't defeat Vecna permanently. So she closes the door, but always leaves the door open because Hopper told her to. Hopper returns, 11. Joyce is back with Will. Ashes fall, clouds darken, worlds are merging. Vecna actually won. He completed his objective. This sets up the final battle in Season 5. There you go. Future, let's talk now about, so you guys rated it. Let's do a final season rating. Overall, taking all the episodes into account. I know it's difficult because there's a lot there. I'll give you some time if you need it.
No, I'm going to go with the 6. I think that this season definitely started off too slow. It definitely went over too many, it was spinning its wheels in too many areas. I think that they're like Elle's getting bullied. It's like awesome, and here's another scene of it. I was like, okay, and then here's another scene of it, and another episode, and another episode, and then we spent this entire time. It's now that we've seen the whole Russia sideline and realized that they didn't show it that it went anywhere. We spent a serious amount of time in Russia, and it didn't go anywhere. And the fact that we split all the team up really hampered the emotional impact. There was not a big, grand, emotional ending at the end of this episode the way that there had been in previous episodes or previous seasons. And so I think that they kind of screwed themselves over by splitting everyone up, and it didn't benefit the show at all. So I still think it's above average TV. I definitely think you should watch it, especially if you're into Stranger Things. But they did a lot of shit that I don't think was very good, and I'm worried that. I don't worry about the state of the show now that everyone's back together, unless they just decide to, send everyone to college or something, and then we have to, there's a Harvard team and there's a Purdue team.
There's 5 seasons, Alex.
We need one location.
It's the last season.
For me, it's gonna be a 7. I did like how they went into more of a horror element, but these edits kind of just take me out of the story. Like it's chugging along, and then you sidetrack me with something else, kind of pulls me away. And it's hard for me to get back in. I was like, okay, when are you going to take me back out? And some of these characters just feel super interjected. They don't really feel like purpose in this. Like, they're just there just to be there. Yeah.
You don't think it's the best season since season 1?
No. Ben, I think 3 was better.
Okay. Yeah. So my final series rating, it seems like I'm more kind to it. I think I agree 100% with all your criticisms. Cannot deny it. But I think the level of acting, writing, budget and increase in stakes and CGI looks great, practical effects even, hold it up to an 8 out of 10 overall. But here's the thing. I wouldn't rewatch part 1. I would go straight to part 2. You know what I mean? So when I'm doing my rewatching, I feel like there's a lot I can skip. But if I'm in the mood, it's just so bloated. There's just so much there that is unnecessary. And we're doing a setup, but we already have a setup. I swear to God, if season fucking 5 rolls around and we do the same thing, bloated part 1, where we're setting up, hey, everybody's fine, everything's great, even though there's like fucking ash in the sky and everything, I will fucking flip out. It better essentially be Stranger Things season 4 part 3. Where we're already in full climax contact.
We know what we need to do. Let's execute the plans.
So 8 out of 10. It's a bit bloated, a bit predictable at times, but fully worth it. Epic, big, and ultimately satisfying, in my opinion. All righty. That's it for us, guys. Let me do one small section. I know the video is running long, but this is a lot of content to cover. Future plotline questions.
Will anyone die?
Will I start liking Mike again?
Will anybody die?
Yeah. Will Mike be useful? Will Will be interesting? Will Jonathan have anything to do?
Yes.
Yes. Man, there's so many characters.
Here's what I wrote down. Dr. Owen. We're going to need, is Dr. Owen dead? No. He's chained up. Will he factor into the story? Sullivan's military. That is a wild card.
They're going to be the big bad guy.
How are they going to factor in? Yeah. Max's return. We need to see how does she return. That's going to be linked to Lucas, I think, a little bit of 11. Eddie's redemption in the public eye. And a tiny hope that Eddie can return, because Eddie died in the Upside Down, right?
But so did Barb.
They
and,
left
like,
him there.
So did Barb die in the Upside Down? Yes, she did.
She's dead.
Yeah, I think Eddie's
I think
Wasn't
Eddie's
she
dead
one of
too.
those in the trees or something?
I don't know. It's just some people are holding out hope that Eddie's not dead. I think Eddie's dead.
I think Max is dead in our universe, but like they destroyed, because that's why when 11 was in her mind, she couldn't find anything.
Right.
So there is no there's Max's body is here, but she's gonna have to find her somewhere else,
Currently,
which
and
is
I
why
think she can bring.
I think
it
that's
back.
that's why he was reading her talisman. I think that's what they
Steve
hinted.
and Nancy and Jonathan. We need to get a resolution of that. Joe, what's going to happen there? Jonathan is going
Season
to
6.
go.
No, she's gonna have 6 babies.
6 babies.
So Nancy's going to dump Jonathan and go with Steve. What?
That's what I
what's the
would've-
excuse for Jonathan? He's going to go to college or something.
He doesn't want to hold her back because
Yeah,
he's going to go
that's
off
what he
and
was
do his
saying. He was
own
having
thing.
a
Do
lot
you
of
think
self-doubt.
Jonathan? What would be cool for me, and I know people would see it coming a mile away, is he sacrifices himself for Nancy's happiness or to save her life.
Like
Do you
Pearl
think he's
Harbor.
gonna die?
We're going to do a Pearl
I think
Harbor.
yeah. If they have to kill somebody, and they fucking have to kill somebody, or maybe Joe, this is not that kind of series. They don't need to die. This is not Game of Thrones. But if they kill somebody, Jonathan. Anyways, what's with Will? Does he have romantic feelings for Mike? Will we get a culmination of that in season 5? I don't know. I hope not. It seems like it's pointless, and it's going to be one of the subplots that is not going to work.
Yeah.
Bring Susie in for season 5 for me. Let's see more of Susie, Dustin's girlfriend. She's like anywhere, and and then she's gone. Let's bring her in for real.
We already have too many people though, because we still
Argyle's
we
still
killed
there.
Argyle. No, we still have Argyle.
Oh, that's true.
We
Yeah.
still got Robin.
All
Now, what's gonna happen with Robin's
You're right.
girlfriend?
Actually, at this point, we should be dropping some of these additional characters and focusing on the main group.
Yeah.
Because we have too many now that everybody's together. It's too many.
Exactly.
So if they do plan to kill main characters, my prediction, Jonathan sacrifice for the relationship, and maybe Will sacrifice for a relationship. He sees 11 and Mike happy, and he wants
You're going to do Joyce dirty.
So you got...
Yep.
I know.
Kill both the kids.
But Will, here's the thing. Will has no fucking purpose. Give Will a goddamn purpose. So there's two potential
That's what sucks.
characters
Like
that I think are gonna
what
die.
season 1 worked so well when Will was gone.
I know.
He was gone
Only
the
limited
entire time.
characters. I mean,
Do they plan to do another supersized season? Do they plan on adding a bunch of new characters
I
and
hope
then
not.
predictively kill them off?
what about the LA crew? Are the LA crew going to come back? Remember them? Remember
No,
You're like,
no.
shut your dirty whore mouth.
That
I hope
episode
not.
is gone.
Oh, no. Come on.
Is it, what's her name?
I don't-
Two?
I
No,
don't
that's
care.
not 2.
I don't care.
7, 6. What number is she? Fuck it. You tell us. I hope it's tightly focused and to the point. The time for setup is over. It is climax only. I'm thinking they could do it in 6 episodes and do that easily. Fuck, they could do it in 4.
Do you think they set up a spinoff in this season?
Shut up.
They revisit. They're like, look, our big cash cow's gone
Again,
and we need to set something up.
Shut
we
your
bring back
dirty
these
whore mouth.
characters, and
my ratings for Stranger Things, by the way, have been all off. I'm going to go through them to end this video. Stranger Things Season 1, 9 out of 10. I think I would adjust that to a 10 out of 10 at this point. Stranger Things Season 2, I gave it a 9 out of 10. With the caveat that the episode where they go to L.A. was the worst, and I'm not counting it. So I really liked Season 2 at a 9 out of 10.
It's so out of
Upon
place.
reflection, maybe Season 2 is the worst. Because I didn't know Season 3 at that point. Season 3, I gave an 8 out of 10. And now Season 4, I gave an 8 out of 10. While Season 4, I think, has the highest, budget and the coolest effects and, biggest fights and things like that, those things are great, and those do hit high highs. Some of the emotional elements are lacking.
Yeah, the kids are getting better at
where-
acting.
Where we had...
oh, the kid, yeah, like that's something that really raised this final episode for me. It's
Yeah,
like how
so
awesome-
for me, it's 9, 9, 8, 8 when it should be 10,
yeah,
7, 8, 8. Can you give me yours?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
maybe like 10, 7, 7, 6. I do think the first one is excellent.
Yeah.
But everything after it started to become a little less special, and I think that it was the writing.
Joe's
was
on record, so somebody can write Joe's.
Yeah,
because
they can see it.
he did write, but for your first one. Anyways, that's it. Video's way too long. Thank you so much for watching all of it, and we really appreciate you. I know it's a discussion style, so hopefully you got our thoughts. Tell us your thoughts in the comments. I like reading these because Stranger Things is fucking cool as shit. But we are ending it, okay? No more. Okay, season 5, done. And like I said, all conflict, no setup. All right? All right, Netflix.
Hopefully, but
Let's see. All right, thank y'all guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe. If you want to see more videos like this, want us to continue to do some of these streaming content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It helps directly support our show, and thank you so much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.